Happy for Mike and his guys with what they're battling with the obvious issues, because when they had their complete team back in November and December, watching them on film, they had a chance to be real good, and they continue to have a chance to be real good. They've lost some heartbreakers in Big 12 play, but Mike's a resilient guy, and he's got unbelievable spirit, and he keeps his guys ready to go. And on our side, I'm not surprised we did not play well or win today. We were embarrassingly bad in practice yesterday. My last words in practice yesterday was, let's get on this bus, let's get on the plane, let's go take this butt whooping. That's what happened.
Questions for Chris?
Chris, what did you feel like made the team so bad in practice yesterday?
Communication. When practice started, we did a really bad job, like talking to each other and get each other accountable. So communication was really bad in dragging practice.
Anything else for Chris?
How does that show up today in the game, you think?
Exactly the way it's from practice. When we came, we wasn't ready. We wasn't talking. So bad practice, a bad game.
Heath, anything? Anything else for Chris? Okay, Chris, you're gonna go. Questions for Coach?
Frank, can you just expand on what you said about what OSU and Coach Boynton are going through, and just your pride in seeing him work through that?
Yeah, we live in a time where we, from afar, everybody says, oh, they're no good, because you just look at their record. When you actually study film for a living, like I do, you can tell what teams are good and what teams are not good, regardless of record. I never look at teams' records. I can care less about that. I coach in this league. This is one of the great atmospheres, one of the great home court environments in the country. They've got a group of guys that have played a lot of high caliber games in their career. Unfortunately, depth is a problem right now. And he's kept those kids together. I watch obviously anytime I can. I'm a fan of this league, so I watch the games in this league because I can, but once we get in conference play, I don't watch as much anymore. But he keeps holding this thing together. He did last year. Think about the teams they beat last year, and the run that they made, and Mike's got an unbelievable demeanor and spirit. I think that's been said publicly enough, and you see his kids play that way. They've lost like 3-4 really hard games. I watched their game a couple nights ago in Bedlam, and total control of that game, and then it just kind of fell apart there at the end. And to have those kids so geeked up and ready to go again, it's a credit to him. It's a credit to those kids that have been through it, but it's also a credit to him.
Obviously, you guys are going up against each other today, but have you been in touch with him during any of this, or given him any advice? We've texted.
We've texted. I'm not one of those guys that I don't try to intervene my voice into other people's problems unless they need me. They know I'm there. He knows I'm here. He knows if he needs me, all he's got to do is reach out. And, we've exchanged texts over the last 2 years during the season just to bounce things off of me, for lack of better words. And then I kind of say stuff to him, too, and listen to him. It's, relationships aren't one way. They're two-way streets. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about Mike Boynton for those of you guys that are still trying to understand who he is out in this part of the country. He's a Gamecock, played at South Carolina, got the chance to go back home, coach at his university. Well, unfortunately, in this business, there was change. And, they brought me in. I wasn't coming unless my staff came with me. So when I met with Mike, I explained to him, I said, Mike, I can't keep you. I didn't know him at the time. I knew who he was, but I didn't know him. I can't keep you, blah, 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 blah. Well, there's a young man that ended up signing with us named Sindarius Thornwell the following year. If Mike Boynton, even though I didn't keep him, decided to tell Sindarius and his uncle, hey, go somewhere else, Sindarius don't come. Instead, that guy, I didn't help. I didn't give him a job. You know what I mean? We ended up as a university. Ray Tanner ended up creating a job for him, which is unbelievable. I allowed him to be around, but he could have told Sindarius. That didn't happen till the end of the summer. He could have told Sindarius, you know, hey man, I'm not gonna be there, so look at your other options. Instead, he stayed, you know, that's the kind of human being that he is. He stayed right in the middle of that whole thing, and we end up getting Sindarius, and his support had a lot to do with it. And that's coming from a guy who had no job at the time, you know, with a wife expecting a child. Think about that. Think about that, and you know, but that's who he is, and that's why I listen to him, because he's a man of unbelievable character.
Frank, when that shot from Felipe goes up in the corner, especially after he just hit the one against Auburn, did you feel pretty good about that look?
No, because we didn't execute what was called. Our guards today I'm just telling you, we're so bad. I don't want to diminish Mike's win. I don't want to do that. But we were bad yesterday. Like yesterday might have been the worst practice we've had since November. It was really bad. We didn't execute anything today. We were really bad, really bad. And we've been trained to play hard, but playing hard doesn't make you good. You know, that's a small component of being good. And we were not connected today. Mentally, we were not connected. We kind of did our own thing. You know, we tried to fight. I mean, we rebounded. We tried to be aggressive and all, but how many hand checks do they got to call you for before you realize that that's not a good play? You know, that is what it is.
How much of that was a function of what Oklahoma State was doing? Did they do anything that took you off guard?
When you run out and you hand check the guy on the half-court line for no reason, that's, you know, if they're driving you and you're trying to stay in front of the ball, I got to understand. I'm talking about all those hand checks when we took the lead. We just kept putting them on the line on irrelevant fouls at 50 feet from the basket. Those are bad basketball plays. Those are plays that a team that's not mentally engaged commits, and that's, you know, that's what we had yesterday in practice. And I'm a big believer. I don't know if that makes me old-fashioned or dumb. I don't know. I'm not very intelligent, but I've never been around in 34 years a team that does not prepare well, and all of a sudden the lights come on and they play well. That's not the way this works.
You guys have been really good at closing out games recently. I mean, is it just that simple that that's why it didn't happen for you today?
Yeah, that's why the ball didn't go in for Felipe. It didn't deserve to go in. You know, didn't deserve to go in. We did. You know, I was going to end up calling a timeout, but then the clock was so low. I said, why call it? You know, but we didn't execute. We did not execute what we called. By the way, not only did we not execute, we had two guys arguing while the play was going on, after neither one did what they were supposed to do. It's you can't win close games, and we had gotten away from that. You know, we had gotten to a place where we had grown up. We reverted the last 2 days. We reverted back to who we were in November. And that, as a coach, that's disappointing. But that's part of the deal. That's when you depend on so many first-year guys. That's part of the deal.
So what do you do as a coach now to just show them the tape and say, nice work, here we go, or what do you do next?
I told them the truth. Told them the truth yesterday. I told them the truth before we got on the bus. I told them the truth early this morning when we came in here to shoot some balls, as far as the things that we did wrong yesterday, hoping that we can play better today. But it's late January. I mean, you're always teaching. You're always moving forward. These kids we've grown up a lot over the last 6-7 weeks. But that still doesn't allow. You know, Heath, you and I and the rest of the adults in this room understand this. As we go through life, and I'm gonna speak as a man because I'm a man, there's certain responsibilities you take on, and two of those, if you're lucky, is you get married, and the other one is if you're blessed, you have a child. You don't ever call in sick, or it's never accepted to have a bad day the rest of your life when it comes to those two responsibilities. Kids need to understand that, and there's no excuse ever. We have 30, whatever, you guys that cover me, you know my deal. We have 31 games or whatever on the year. There's no excuse to not prepare to play those 31 games. None. But we were bad yesterday, so we gotta go back. We got a hard game Tuesday night at home. You know, winning on the road's hard. Winning in the road in this league is hard. My heart was broken in this building many a times in my time in this conference. You know, but what we're gonna do? You're not gonna dwell and be negative. That's not who I am. I'm gonna be demanding, and we're gonna teach, and we're gonna line up and hopefully get better in the next 2 days and play a lot better on Tuesday if we expect to have any chance.
How would you assess y'all's defensive play against Waters?
We're bad. It was awful. I mean, scouting report said Giago's going to shoot threes from everywhere. So whenever we're in the zone, don't let him shoot the threes. How many did we stand there and watch him shoot and see, like, hey, let's see if he can miss this one, I call that the wish defense. That's what we played today. I wish he misses. And you don't play high-level guys that work their, I know him and his dad forever, okay? I've known them. I've known him since he's like a little, little jit running around, okay? That young man has a work ethic that's second to none. He ain't missing shots. You let him shoot it, he ain't missing shots. And our guys played a wish defense, even though the scouting report for 2 days said, don't give him shots because he's not going to miss. We weren't good. We were bad.
Last question, anybody else?
Did anybody play well for you today?
Nah, I don't. Maybe you can have an opinion better than me on that one. It's not like we didn't try. We tried, but we were mentally completely distant. We did a lot of selfish things on offense and defense today. Well, same things we did yesterday. I don't get mad at mistakes. I get mad at people that are not mentally prepared to do what you coach them to do. That's what I get mad at. Keyshawn's trying to figure stuff out. He's gonna make some mistakes. But when guys don't do what you coach them to do, that's not good. That's what I get mad at. And I don't think we had a single guy that was mentally engaged for the last couple of days to give us a chance to have success here today. That's what's really disappointing to me.
Thanks, guys.